I was just thinking that.
Hello?
Catherine.
Yes.
Hey, it's Scott Scherson. How you doing? We have
How you doing?
Good. We have a celebrity in the house. Very cool. So, oh yeah. Hey, you were at the SAG Awards the other day.
Yes, I was.
Yeah. So I definitely want to talk about that. With you here is my co-host JT, my sweet loving wife Robin, who actually you may recall because you recorded a really cool message for her. Are you picking up?
Hold on, I'm just plugging my Okay, there we go. Sorry.
There we go. Awesome. Yeah, we had a little feedback on that. My wife Robin is also here. If you recall, you recorded a really nice message for her. Because we were getting married at the time, and we're married now about 3.5 months. And then, of course, the amazing, charismatic, and very personable Ming Chen from AMC's Comic Book Men is here as well. But yeah, no, I appreciate you being on, and yeah, congratulations. You know, Orange is the New Black.
Oh yeah,
well,
it was super fun. I mean, I was there with Stranger Things this time, but I won a couple of times with Orange and Orange is the New Black, which was super great, and they were all there, which was very funny because I sort of knew people from both TV shows, which made it kind of like, you know, like family a little bit, or I don't know, when you go back to high school and, you know, you end up knowing two groups of cool kids. You're like, oh, wow, how did this, I'm so not cool. So how would I possibly know two groups of cool kids? I mean, everybody in both groups is ultimately much cooler than I am, but I do actually know them all. And I had a really good time. You know, I took a lot of pictures of everybody and posted them, and that was really fun. And it's just really fun to be able to, you know, sort of, I don't know, you know, walk into high school and know a bunch of kids, you know, as opposed to walk into high school and not know a bunch of kids. It's just a lot more fun, you know. So it was great to have two shows.
Now, did you have a challenge with that, with Stranger Things? Because obviously Stranger Things was such an absolute phenomenon after season 1. So when you came in season 2, did that feel a little weird as opposed to, like, say, Orange, where you kind of grew with everybody?
Not really. I mean, I still don't really, you know the Stranger Things people too well, but I certainly love them all, and I think they're amazing artists, and I love the show, and I love the Duffer Brothers. I'm so grateful to be a part of their incredibly spontaneous and creative and gentle and aware and sort of openly spontaneous team that they are making. It's the most creative, like, it's one of the most creative sets I've ever worked on, and very sort of gentle and simple and easy, and I don't know, incredible kindness. I'm super grateful, very blessed to be on that show. And you know, I don't know a ton of people, you know, involved with it yet, but I think they're doing amazing work, and I'm so stunned, you know, and I'm so into it. It's fantastic. So, you know, and I think Orange was great too. I mean, yeah, I started with Orange on day 1 of the pilot. So I guess you could say I was sort of with Orange from the beginning, and that was really fun. But, you know, Orange, I mean, I think it changed. You know, things change, things grow, things go different places. And, you know, when I left Orange, I think it was a good time for me to leave. I left with a bunch of the other guards, and, you know, the show was changing really from more of a dramedy into a drama. And I think that was the perfect time for me to sort of, you know, find a new path. And, you know, doing Insecure and then doing Stranger Things has been, you know, just a challenge and a blessing. And I'm a bit of a gypsy, so I really love moving from show to show. And I think that's really fun. I'm on Homeland right now.
Nice.
Which is, you know, it's just such a pinnacle of sort of actors acting, you know, like Stranger Things, like Orange, like Insecure, but Olin's a lot of theater people, or ex-theater people, and so it's a little different feel on set, and it is such a high drama that it's a different sort of animal spirit again, and that is awesome to be part of.
That's cool.
So,
and also you did a couple episodes of Kimmy Schmidt too, so Netflix has been good to you that way. But
oh yeah, and I did Mindhunter. I did their Mindhunter, which was lovely. I think I haven't watched a lot of Mindhunter because I'm sort of terrified, but I everybody tells me I shouldn't be, because it's really a show more about the psychology behind the serial killer, and it's not like a gruesome thing. It's really about how do we get to these people in our society, and how fragile human beings really are, and if you really treat people terribly, some of them just go off the deep end, and what is nature, what is nurture, and how did nurture participate in the rearing of a serial killer? And that's an amazing question, and certainly one that probably will be asking forever, because the human being is so complicated. But it's a very, very interesting question to ask, and I love a show that seeks to climb into that driver's seat and go down that path.
Sure. That's cool.
So
actually,
yeah.
I did have a question. Where did you actually shoot Stranger Things? Not to come back to that too quickly.
Stranger Things, it's right outside of Atlanta.
It was, okay.
It's we were in like a Georgian, I guess, suburb of Atlanta. I don't really know Georgia very well, but I was told that I was in a suburb of Atlanta, and I believe them. And what was really cool, just the little bit of driving around that I got to do, was, they just simply shoot the streets as they are. I think that there are so many houses in Atlanta, so many streets in Atlanta, like Pittsburgh, like so many different places in America, where, time sort of stood still. And this street looks like it did in the 1970s, or, this street looks like it did in the 1940s. And, if you just bring in the right picture cars, no one would be the wiser. And that's really a fascinating thing. When you shoot in a place where, you blink and you're back in time.
Sure. Yeah.
And the house that we shoot in, it's very period looking. And it was the house that was there. So.
Wow. Okay. So they just left. Because one of the reason I asked that is because in a lot of the credits for the episodes, they mention, I think, the Quebec Film Commission. So I was curious if they brought you up to to Canada to shoot some of that stuff, because that might have been a little cold for it. But
yeah, no, not me. I mean, maybe they're doing, different. I don't know what they're doing in the Quebec part of the shoot, but there's a lot of shooting in Canada, so that makes sense. That they would shoot some of it up there. I don't know. Maybe they're working on a big set up there, or a big stage, or maybe there's something up there that just really makes sense. There's a reason why, in terms of, I don't know, plot or storyline, or the look of something. I think the Duffer Brothers are very, everybody is really into the specificity of it and the details. And, I know that they're very clear about, the visuals and finding the right visuals. So maybe there's something in Quebec that they're like, this is it. This is, this is some part that I don't know, because I've only shot in Atlanta.
You shot in Georgia. That's okay. Well, it's warm down there anyway. So, but that was pretty cool. Do you think that Dustin is constipating again?
Oh my God. I don't even know.
I'm sorry,
I think that
line,
mother,
I lost it on that line. I really did.
I know, that's such a funny line. I think that's just a mother, checking in on her son.
Sure.
I don't know whether he is or not. I mean, I think that's just, my son is, 11, and I check in with him all the time. And I think I'm constantly embarrassing him. I'm constantly asking him questions like, did you eat enough lunch? And, what did you have for lunch? And, where's your scarf? And, it's a constant mother thing of, what socks do you have in your feet? And did you brush your teeth well enough? I mean, it's just this constant barrage of questions that come out of mothers that I think it's a universal condition. I think it's a problem that mothers have, that we ask the most personal questions of our kids. Just
you wouldn't be a mother if you weren't.
We have to be in charge. Your feet hurt. Why do your feet hurt? It's everything is an alarm. So it's funny. It's funny to be a mom and be playing a mom of a similarly aged, child. That's sort of fun. So that's really sort of a lot of fun.
So it wasn't as much of a stretch, I guess, from a method standpoint.
No, not really. But I'm very glad to have had the experience of motherhood, to play a mother, because I think that's something that you can't, I just don't know that you can duplicate that sort of knowledge. Like in Lady Bird, some of the scenes in that, like that classic scene they have in Salvation Army where they're picking out the pink prom dress, and they're like yelling at each other, and then they pick out the dress and they're like, oh, we love it, it's great. And that's just so classic mom child, and I think, it really plays into, and it's been awesome to have a son who's really taught me so much about, being a mom and being able to use that in my work. I'm very beholden to my son. So he's been really my teacher.